Hey everyone, Adam Perry here with TrueDFS, and I am lucky enough to have Sheets with me. So we're going to go over today's NHL DFS slate. We'll do DraftKings, maybe we'll do some FanDuel if we have time. Sheets is going to fire up some questions. He fired up projections, so we're ready to go. And we'll take you through it. We're looking forward. So I'll do what I normally do, unless you have questions already. But
Yeah, I do. So I have first of all, I feel as though I just kind of jumped into the season without even like looking at anything. And actually got lucky. I hit one a few weeks ago or whatever. But I wanted to catch up with you on some things that have been going on in hockey, and I just wanted to ask you a couple of things. First of all, like when you have been, again, you were out for a while, but you've been back, right? So you've been playing. Have you been using? First of all, have you been using the SaberSim projections or the Goldies or the Sheets? Because I've only put it up probably like 40% of the time, if at all. What have you been doing, first of all, as far as?
I tend to use Goldies at least for the early part of the day.
Okay.
And if I have time, like if everything's copacetic, I'll use Goldies for the run at the end, right before lock. But Goldie can only get his, 20, 30, 45 minutes close to lock.
Oh, is that right?
But not right up to lock. And that can cause a problem because NHL is not a news sport like basketball, but it's not a no news sport. And
have you found that there have been that like the things I always worried about is like the goalies for the beginning. So have the goalies been put up like within a reasonable time? When do the goalies usually get put up nowadays?
Goalies are usually put up 30 minutes. Well, some are during the day, and some are like 30 minutes before lock. We did a thing Friday, and the goalies didn't get posted till like the very end.
Wow.
And then we weren't even 100% sure. SaberSim seemed to catch it, but we didn't get a post on Twitter, so we weren't 100% sure. But I think we knew basically who they were going to be. But the goalies aren't really that big a problem because they're pricing them like exactly the same.
Right.
So unless there's, I guess you could go lower, but it's rare that you need the extra 200, let's say, for the starting goalie. So it hasn't been a huge problem, but there's other news that has been.
Yeah. Let me just finish this stuff about goalie for a second. So do we have access to, like, within the Discord Twitter, the Twitter account that we can rely on for that kind of stuff? Or
we do.
Okay.
It's lines.
Okay.
I have it pulled up here.
Okay.
But what we don't have access to is NHL Game Day news tweets and NHL Game Day lines tweets. So these are like the morning skate stuff. And it matters. So like you put projections up. And one of the reasons it matters is because SaberSim gets it wrong sometimes too. And so that's why I did a thing on Friday afternoon where SaberSim had the wrong lines for Washington. And I was like, well, Washington's going to be pretty chalky. Now, if I build and end up with Washington guys, like I want to see what SaberSim can get me and then hand build around it because it has the wrong lines for some of these guys. So that's been iffy. But if you look at like the news here, so Blues are working on the power play thing this morning. Snuggerud and Dvorsky aren't in the same unit. So then that'll catch up later in the day, but that's not in your projections. Robert Thomas is back in tonight.
Okay.
That's in the projections. Nylander for Toronto is going to play.
That was the one that I was going to ask you about because both and I had him at 0. So,
but it's not. Yeah. So Nylander is going to play.
Okay.
But they switched up their power play. Cowan's on power play 1. Nyes is on power play 2 now.
So we're going to have to. So hopefully that will get updated.
And just to show people why you still need to look at the lines. I mean, these are morning skate lines. So you could get lines change. It's not common, but you could get this changed later in the day right before lock. Like this Easton Cowan on line 2 and power play 1 is an amazing play. Now, if they change that for, go with Michelli on line 2 or something, it totally changes the value there. And it doesn't happen often, but it happens enough that you got to look out for this stuff if you want to play at the highest level. you know, and maybe there's still edge if you leave that on the table, but I don't like leaving stuff on the table. So to me, you got to be on top of this, all the news. Not to it's people say because it's not like NBA, it's not a newsy sport, but it really is. And if we didn't have NBA, we'd be saying it. So
I have another question about goalies, and this is
yeah,
going to be very embarrassing to ask. Okay.
no embarrassing questions.
No, but I'm going to ask anyway because this is like the only way I can ask it and have it make sense to me. Did they change the scoring system for goalies this year?
No.
Okay. The only reason
Why do
I
you say
ask
that?
is because I don't know what happened, but this season, as opposed to literally every other season I've been doing these sheets and projections, like I have to scroll like to the 50th player to find the top goalie in sheet value score. And it was just never like that. Like, and it's all season. Like, so I'm just curious. I literally just don't have any explanation for it, other than to ask if the points have changed, because I'm telling you, like in the last like couple of years, usually the goalies were like somewhere between 10th and 20th on my list rated by sheets value score. Now they're just nowhere, like ever. And I'm looking at these projections, like on the goalies, like at 10 fantasy points or something like that. For these goalies, and they instinctively just seem low. You know what I mean? Like, but you're telling me there's nothing's really been changed.
The only thing I can think of is that maybe there was a change in the skaters that made some of them better values.
Okay,
that's the only thing I can think of, and there was a change SaberSim made part of the way through last year, where they put a lot of value on the power play. SaberSim does, and we've got that confirmed by them. But they changed it so even strength got better value. They also made some changes, I think, to the D-men that like better valued blocks and time on ice and stuff. So it could be that those just started popping for more value and went ahead of the goalies.
But even these raw projections, I mean, I'm looking, it's like embarrassing that I never even noticed this. Like, are these like,
oh, you know what? I think I know what it is. SaberSim, do you remember? Well, did you notice last year a difference in goalies from early in the day to late in the day in the value?
No. Oh, is that what it is? Because of whether they're not confirmed yet or something?
SaberSim was doing a thing last season where the goalies would always like project higher earlier during the day, and then they would adjust it down. And I don't know exactly what it was or why the reason was, but they would always come down like a couple points in the final sim. And
well, for me, this is like it feels like the opposite. Like, I mean,
no, but they were higher projected.
I know, but why are goalies? I mean, again, I'm feeling.
So now they're just lower projected from the jump.
Maybe. Yeah, but here I'm feeling really stupid. Like, don't goalies usually score like 15, 16 points? You know what I mean? Like, I don't.
Yeah, what do you have? Let's see. Let's see.
And we're the same as Goldie and SaberSim. I mean, like we're all very close.
No, let's see what SaberSim is.
I mean, I have it listed.
Your highest projected goalie is 11 fantasy points, and it's Demko, which is also surprising because you have these 8K goalies usually project from a median for an average perspective better.
Hang on.
D-Pope, I'm going to get to this.
But even some of the other sites I'm going to that shall remain nameless, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you're right in line with SaberSim on goalie projection.
Yeah. And even like other sites, they have the same thing, 11, 11, 12, 11, 12, whatever. So I guess that's hallucinated. I don't know what to say. Okay. I
don't know. But if SaberSim was high, like you might have had higher values. Like if SaberSim was 13, 12, 12, instead of 11, right. 10, if it was 30 and then came down right before lock, well, your value scores that you had would have made them look a lot better.
Okay, so you had mentioned, you put in the Discord or whatever earlier that Seattle was going to look really really cheap. And again, I didn't build anything yet. I'm just like looking at the projections, and I could totally see where there that looks right. I have all these guys like 4,000.
Yeah.
And
they're playing the Blackhawks.
Eberle, Schwartz,
Beniers, Stevenson.
Beniers,
Dunn.
So I imagine that's going to be the case. And as always, looks like Matthews looks like really expensive. And nothing's really changed too much. Edmonton's really expensive. If you can get to them, great. So it looks as though actually the team that the line that again, I'm staring at would be the Vancouver actually, with Patterson and DeBrusk.
Yeah, they're pretty cheap too.
That would look pretty cheap. So I'm curious. And then the Sherwood also. He's even straight line 2, whatever. But again, you've already mentioned there's going to be some line changes, perhaps.
Yeah, well, and Sherwood's on power play 1. So, and that line's fully correlated. Pedersen, Besser, and DeBrusk are all on EV1 and power play 1.
Okay.
And then you get Roenick because Hughes is so you're going to have to make sure Hughes is out. But if Hughes is out, then Roenick becomes a great value as the power play quarterback and the cheap D-man. So this is a thing I like to think about. Is like, okay, Vancouver and Nashville both project for like 2.5, like they have just over 2.5 goal total, right? Nashville a little higher than Vancouver, but they both project, 2.8, 2.9, something like that. But someone's got to win the game, right? So one of them is likely to go over. Now, of course, they could win 2-1, or, so, in a win, one of these teams is a lot better. So that value, I think makes sense. You could do a lot with Vancouver. They're dirt cheap. Then you can kind of get who you want. You could go, Matthews is going to be the higher owned between him and McDavid, and Riley's going to be higher owned than Bouchard. But you could go something like that and get a ton in. With Seattle, though, they've got the real high total. Not really. They got like 3.5 or a little less, 3.3 against the Blackhawks, and you could do just about anything with them if you want to get their power play in. You can.
Have you been even on the shorter slates like this, insisting on 5-mans and stuff like that?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I want to get to D Pope's thing that he put in chat.
Yeah.
I have noticed I'm not just doing that because it's intuitive. The post-contest sims give much better Sklansky bucks to the 5-mans and the 6-mans than they do and the 4-3s do well, but nothing less just seems to do real well in the post-contest sims. And so it's my intuition that you want to stack still on a 4-game slate and be pretty, but like just look at what the numbers say post flop. After we see the flop, right? The EV is just better on those big stacks. So I'm demanding them pre-build. Frankly, they show up. If you look at the EV and the post-contest sims of a showdown slate, it's all 5-1s and 4-2s at the top.
Really?
Yeah, on a showdown slate. So take that to the other end on an 11-game slate. Like, what do you
Right.
It's so you take it to the extreme by looking at one game, and stacking is still in correlation. So there's not many levers we could pull in DFS, and correlation is one of them.
Right.
Right. And so we have to take advantage of that. But people will tell you differently. What do I know?
Well, what's interesting, again, is one of the reasons I still like to do it this way is, like, I just ran a build, and the way I handled Nylander and all those guys being in or whatever is what I did is I used my what I did was I uploaded my own projections, but then there was one little checkbox that says do not exclude unlisted players. I left that unchecked, which means that I get the new SaberSim projections to replace my zeros. Nylander, just to see what I have. And the reason why I mention this is so I just built like just 5,000 with no rules or with no restrictions, and I'm getting out of 100 and whatever, 100, how many lineups this is, 180 or whatever this is. I'm getting almost like no 5-man stacks, like
Really?
eight 5-man stacks and only like 12% 4-3s. Like I'm getting 15% 3-2-2s, 12% 4-2s, 12% 3-2s, 12% 4-3s.
Yeah. One of the differences is you're building for the lotto.
Yes.
That's a big difference. I always build for one entry.
Well, the other thing, I again, it's important to give some context. The other thing that I think I'm doing, let me just make sure, is I'm also in portfolio diversification setting.
Yeah.
And let me see if that's that's changing this at all. Let's see, stack exposure. No, still the same. 3-2-2s would be my top one, but like you said, I am building for the lottery. And again, the only reason I bring it up is, again, it's the philosophical discussion that we've had for like 2 years now is whether you're better off, setting the restrictions that you're going to want anyway pre-flop, or whether to just not set any pre-flop and then back into your restrictions. And the only reason I still consider doing it this way and then backing into the restrictions is like to see what I'm kind of up against. Like when I see that, that it's going to take me to my 80th lineup or whatever to get to a 5-man without restriction.
Right.
And I don't know how I'm going to handle it, but I think that I should at least have that information at my disposal before committing. And I don't know exactly how to deal with it, but I think that it's. So I think it's wise to do that, but yet at the same time, I don't know what to do with it. You know what I mean? So,
you're also gonna get you're gonna build 20,000, and that's a big difference.
I built only 5 for the purposes of
you built only 5. Okay.
Yeah, and explain to everybody the difference, by the way.
Well, the difference is when you only get 5,000 lineups, well, what if I get 500 2-2-2-2s in there? And some of them can grade well, maybe 20 of them grade well, but then I just wasted 480 of my 5,000 pool, and 5,000 is nothing. So the more lineups you build, the more lax you could be with your restrictions.
True. That's true.
And 20,000 is not a lot, really.
Well, I got for a 4-man, 4-game.
For a 4-game slate, it is. But no, one thing I want to point out two things. One, Depot had a question I'm going to get to. I just want to point out why it's important to look in news. So here's this guy, Luke Fox. If you see my screen, Bobby McMahon skated as an extra this morning, but Craig Berube says he's not necessarily a healthy scratch. Some decisions to make before puck drop versus Penguins. So, like, if McMahon's in, then this Robertson on line 1 could be gone. And then you're going to
say that again. So McMahon's in, then what?
If McMahon's in, there's a good chance he's on line 1 and taking Robertson out. And then Robertson might be on line 2 and take Cowan out, or McMahon could be on a different line altogether. So that's going to be like a right before lock kind of news thing that really changes the way these stacks correlate. And it's just something you got to look out for in hockey.
Well, how do you handle it? So,
I handle it by not building till 10 minutes before lock.
Right. Okay. So that's one way to do it. So
yeah,
if you wait till 10 minutes before lock, then we're presuming then that if a half hour before lock, what happens? They take the ice in a certain order. You know what I mean? And who's going to be with who or whatever.
Yeah.
Then we're presuming that, not to be cynical, but when that happens in a half hour, that in the next 15 minutes, SaberSim and others on a night where there's going to be 100 NBA games, an NFL showdown slate, they're going to dedicate resources to immediately rerun all the sims with the new subtlety in the line, and then the new correlations will be put into the system and the Sims will pick all of that up. Not to mention the change in the possible contest fields and ownership that relates from that.
Well, that's the key point, the ownership.
So I don't want to be cynical or naive at the same time, but we're trying to figure out the best way to handle this. So if there's a key piece, let's not say key piece, like that's not like okay, so it's a key piece, but
it is a key piece with Toronto being chalky.
Right. No, what I mean is this, like in the NBA, if everybody's waiting for if XYZ is out, right? Like if Mitchell is out, it's 7:00 game, everybody's staring at their freaking Discord, everybody's staring at their projections, everybody's got multiple projection things, and everybody knows that the slate's gonna just turn on that, and everybody's waiting to pound away, then you can promise you that 100% of the time when that news comes out, bam, we take it. But when you have like a news item like this, which is important, but it's like sort of important in a more subtle way. I wonder if we're supposed to like look at the projections before skate. You know what I mean? Like and or whatever, like 34 minutes to post, if that's what we're looking at. And then after that news gets announced, at 10 minutes to post time, see if there's been any change. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and it's because if there isn't, then you should probably do something manually.
Yeah. You know? The other thing you have to remember, I mean, this is an easy one because it's the first game, but you're going to have later games where the swaps are a little bit more complicated. So it's
but I think it's fair enough to write this down. So I think that okay. So what's the flow chart here? So we're looking at who at McMahon.
We're looking at McMahon and Toronto. Now, if he plays, he had been skating on line 1. So if he comes in and gets back on line 1, it's going to affect this Robertson value and the Cowan value. McMahon's 3,700, so he'll get some value. It'll also affect the correlations because Nyes and Matthews will be correlated more to McMahon than Robertson. So Robertson,
so
these guys are coming up as go ahead.
So basically, McMahon plays, then what we would want, you know, if it was like, what's the best thing likely to happen, right? Then it would be McMahon and Matthews and what's the rest of that line?
Nyes
and Knives. Okay, so it'd be those three, and the Robertson, which is you're telling me is currently projected to be part of that line, is going to drop to the second line.
I don't know. He's going to drop somewhere.
Right.
If McMahon is line 1.
But so Robertson himself would be worse.
Robertson will be worse. Now, Cowan is an extremely good value because he's power play 1 and he's line 2 correlated with Tavares and Nylander, who are all also on the power play with him, right? So Cowan, Tavares, Nylander is going to be popular.
But you're saying that McMahon, Robertson might drop to 2 and Collins might drop to 3.
Yeah, or McMahon, or it's all moot, right? And McMahon comes in at line 4 and it doesn't mean anything. Well, we just don't know.
Well, okay, so you're sitting there and you're like, okay, the McMahon is in.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying. Once they say he's in, will you know right away whether he's on line 1 or no?
Yeah, you should know. You should know you'll know when they announce the line. So you'll know 15 minutes before lock.
So okay, so let's say that McMahon is in, and they announce the lines, and now you have unlimited time. Okay, and now you say, okay, now I'm going to run a whole new show. I don't have that time, but let's just pretend you did.
Yeah.
And then you would say, okay, because of this news, what do I want to play?
Well, let me ask you this: do my opponents have unlimited time?
Forget your opponents. I just want the biggest score.
Oh, I want to play Toronto 1.
Toronto 1 if McMahon is in. And
because he's going to be untouched.
I want to play Toronto 2.
I might, if I'm MMEing, I'm going to have some of the power play with Toronto 2.
Okay.
But I want some McMahon, right?
Okay.
If he's gonna be low owned, which I'm assuming if my opponents don't have the same time to react.
And if McMahon is okay, so McMahon is now presuming to be what in the projections? Out?
He's presumed out now.
Okay.
Yeah. He's
Okay, well,
presumed out. He could be in. So
okay.
you have a projection on him. So that's weird. You have him in. Sabersim has him out.
Well, because again, Saberson came in after I did. So Saberson put Nylander in, and I had Nylander out. So,
I see.
Yeah.
So Sabersim. Okay. So we have to see what happens with that. Then we've got Robert Thomas news in the St. Louis game. We got that already. There's a little bit of Quinn Hughes news. I don't think Quinn Hughes is going to play. So after the first game, we shouldn't have to worry about news on this specific slate. Now, Deep Hope, to answer your question, I don't like the idea of Xing out any player or player type. I think there's a time and place for everyone, and we let Sabersim make that calculation for us. So, like you say, another thing I'm doing is Xing out defensive men that isn't either power play unit position or Xing them out from the fourth line defensive position. I get what you're saying. Like the fourth line D-men aren't great, but there's a time and place where that $2,500 punt lets you get to something else or just makes sense for whatever reason, whether it's correlation or one thing or other.
There's a couple of things that are very 2017 DFS that people do. And one of them was that. Just say, okay, these guys I just don't want to play. That's a little more subtle. I mean, that's a little more not subtle. And our advice to that is, depending on the sport, I guess. I mean, you really don't want to X anything out. I could make the argument if you're MMEing like NFL Showdown, or even MLB Showdown, really, that you got to be careful with some of these Sabersim projections. Like when they give you like a projection of like 0.02 or something like that, because there's like a 2% chance they play because they played once, whatever it is. If you're not too careful, if you include those in your pool, you're going to get them. You know what I mean? Like in Showdown, when some of them really literally have an infinitesimal chance of playing, like at all. So that would be the only time I would say that. The other thing that, again, people used to say is if you run, say, 150 lines or 1,000 lines, whatever, and you're getting only like 3% of somebody, just you may as well just X it out, right? Then that's what people would say. Like if you're getting 3%, you're not. When you're better off Xing them out, using those combinations with the, hashtag better plays. That I completely disagree. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, those, if you need examples, I mean, like almost all of my enormous scores were from that 3%. I mean, like really, it's like just guys that I probably would have X'd out if I had adhered to that. It's just kind of the way it goes. Like,
my lineups that graded well and last night's NFL Showdown had all those wacky plays.
The thing is, Deep Hope, I mean, you're running fewer lines. I promise you that if you're using good projections and you use Sabersim or even an optimizer or whatever, you're not going to get like atrocious plays that you would have X'd out. Okay, you're probably not, especially if you're only playing one line. Okay. Like if you're playing one lineup and or three lineups and you get to a guy that's like the lowest projected guy on the slate, you probably did something wrong. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't work that way. But in the case where you would have gotten to them, it does I would just leave everybody in the pool.
I'm gonna run a build and maybe just for the sake of let's see what we get to in the 3-3-3. Corey asked for building for 4-max. I mean, I think this is basically a 4-max, the 3-3-3. We could check, but it's something like that. So let's do a build for that. And
how many lineups do you build?
Yeah, it's 4-max.
Something like that.
I build 5,000.
Okay.
I built 5,000, and when I look at the grading and see that 6-mans and 5-mans grade better, I go back and just build all 5-mans and 6-mans.
Yeah.
So let's see what grades better.
But that's an interesting point that that he just made there, everybody. It's like seems like kind of not anti-intuitive or whatever, but just because like you're only building for one lineup, it doesn't mean you shouldn't build like the maximum amount of lineups that you have at your disposal. You know what I mean? Like it costs nothing more, you know, and you may as well just do it, you know, because then you run the risk. You know what? I only want to build 200. Who knows? Maybe that 200 first lineup would have been the top EV lineup or something.
Yeah. The other thing you can do is you could run multiple, like you could run it, see how your lineup grades, and then run another sim and see if it's still, you know, let's say you took the first lineup, run another sim and make sure it still shows up in that top 10 or something, because there's variance in the sims too.
Right.
I mean, it may have just binked one time and it actually is a shitty lineup. So, you know, you could do something like that. People have suggested like taking averages of multiple sims.
One thing I'm seeing there is that you don't have any. Oh, so you're going to add the contest that way. Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
I should have it so it defaults to just adding it, but all right. We'll see what our top lineup is.
Now, what are some of these defaults that you have here? Hold on a minute. So you have avoid duplicates. Okay. You have auto run contest sims, auto run diversifier. You do not have compact views. Okay.
Pretty standard, I think. It's whatever it is out of the box.
Okay.
So Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh showing up as my top EV lineup, then Nashville. This is, yeah. Sorry, I got a cough. So you got 4-3, 5-2, 4-3.
I mean, to your point, then, I mean, again, probably because of my of the lottery, I'm getting that.
Yeah. So here, 5-2, 4-3, 4-3. Here's just a 4. It's ugly, though. I don't like playing it. Ooh, Edmonton, 5-2. So, you know, that says to me the correlation is.
So to that point, so I built using my projections and with no limitations, and I built 100 million not 100 million lines, but I put in 180 whatever contests, and in my top shelf, I have very close to what you have actually. Like I have the same Pittsburgh top line, with Crosby, Malkin, and Rust, and then I have two then I also have Carlson. So I have 4 Pittsburghs, and actually I have 4-2. Actually, if you consider Pittsburgh goalie a 5, so I have a 5-man Pittsburgh if you include the goalie, and then I have 2 Nashvilles, 2 Seattles.
Did you see last week there was duped lineups that won the 3-3-3?
Really?
Yeah, and they had to have been SaberSim users, just judging by the type of lineup and what it was giving. It looked to me like the lineups I was getting.
Oh man!
So you're saying you have the same lineup as number?
Not the same, but I mean pretty close. I have. Do you have Carlson as your defenseman?
Carlson and Shea.
So I don't. I have Crosby, Malkin, Rust, Carlson, but then Jerry is a goalie, and then
I have Jerry. I have Harry.
6 Pittsburghs. Okay.
Wait, hold on. I'm gonna go get some water. Sorry about that.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah, so I can't see. Let's see something. Yeah, I can't see your bottom right because I have a picture of myself here. But, so I have so you have 6 Pittsburghs total, including 5 skaters.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. I have 5.
So you have 3 Pittsburghs. You have Crosby, Malkin, Rust, right?
Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's all
right. I've been sick since I got back from the UK.
Yeah. You have Crosby, Malkin, Rust, and then you have Carlson and who else? And Jerry. Okay.
Yeah. So that's 4 skaters. 4 skaters and Harry.
And then what do you have? And then I have 2 Nashvilles, 2 Seattles.
Nashville. And here we're different. I got Blackhawks.
Okay. Well, actually, hold on. So, yeah. Okay. Same game though, at least. All right. Yeah. So,
okay, let's. So there, Corey asked for four mans.
okay.
This is a 4-max. Here's where we're getting, and it's pretty diverse. I have to say, there's no like one stack standing out, so that's pretty good. But yeah, it looks like Pittsburgh coming up at the top, and you're getting the same thing. And you used a different projection set.
I did.
You know, so what does that tell you? And the thing is, you can say, oh well, we didn't exactly dupe. But if we're playing really similar combinations to everyone else in the field, yeah, you're not duping, but your EV is down, right? I mean, you want to have pretty unique combinations.
Well, but the other thing to consider, everybody, is that, again, what makes it even more not unlikely, but remember something to consider is that we're both, well, forget you because you're only playing one lineup, but I'm in portfolio diversification mode. So normally I would say that it's even more rare to have like dupy type lineups because if SaberSim is doing what it's supposed to do, it's diversifying your portfolio on itself without worrying about what other people are playing necessarily. But because the top shelf is the highest buy and highest priority lineup, that's not the one that's going to get diversified away. You know what I mean? Like that's the one that's going to go in. So like if you to the point of this, like if you played one top shelf and 20 lineups in like a lottery versus me playing the top shelf and 300 lineups in like the lottery, the top shelves might be the same, but even if we use the same projection sets, our exposures in the lotteries could be quite different.
Yeah. Depop, I'm going to let's run a sim for the single entry for the $5 like you said.
Okay.
I apologize for the coughing, people. I've been sick ever since I got back.
Everybody gets sick when they come back from these freaking vacations or vacations, whatever these.
I know, it's embarrassing.
It's not embarrassing.
No, embarrassing to be coughing like this.
No, I hear you.
On the screen.
That's okay.
Jesus.
Hey, this is a hockey.
That's right.
And that's all people do in hockey is sneeze and gross and
look for their teeth. All right. Why didn't it? Will it not let me because I'm not playing this? Is
that right?
I don't know. One thing about SaberSim is it's gotten a lot harder to run sims for contests you're not playing in. Like you have to upload your entry file.
Yeah, I'm just kind of used to doing that, so I don't. Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe it's a joint venture they have with DraftKings now.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't see a Depop. How do I contest? How do I get the contest in here? What if we just run for? Okay. Off. No. Depop, I don't know if I could do it without playing in that contest.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'm sure you can, but I can't figure it out.
Are you playing in that, or are you?
No, I'm not.
Damn it.
Sorry.
Depop, I don't know. I gotta say though, I think it's gonna come out just about the same.
I think so.
I don't think it's gonna be much difference between 4-max and single entry. The contest size you're talking about is 146. Right?
You know what I have actually? I actually did run it for the shorthanded goal.
Okay.
Which is, but again, we have the same problem because I'm also playing the top shelf.
Right.
So it's
putting your top lineup in there.
Yeah. So it's gonna do that. But let me.
Yeah, it'll only let me run sims for the top shelf.
Well, let me do something else. Let me.
We could do a hand build. For fun.
Yeah, you can definitely do that. But hold on, let me just hold on. Let me Here, I'll tell you what, just for him. Here, let me share my screen.
Okay.
Let's see. So what we're going to do is we'll take out all the sims except for the shorthanded goal. So it is the 121 single entry, and it says high stakes single entry. But you know what we could do? We could trick it deeper for you. So you want to do the $5 single entry? So instead, for the field, we're going to use low stakes single entry. How about that? There you go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we're going to use and you could use this for any of your tournaments, I guess. So, but okay. You know what else you could do? We could really be precise and see how many and how many entrants there are. But we're going to presume for now your $5 single entry. No, it can't be only 78. It's got to be more than that, right? So how many entries do you think?
There's 900.
900? Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll put it in. So 900 entries. Same thing here. Same thing here. Low stakes single entry. Okay. Used for fields. Hold on. Let's make sure I'm doing this right before I rerun it. We don't need this one. We just need this one. It's the only one we're simming. And we'll go back to the builds. And then we will just sim here and see what happens. So again, even though it's the shorthanded, it's actually using the data from the other one. So now it's diversifying, though. Let's just see. Shorthanded goal. So this one's interesting. This one's getting Austin Matthews, Tavares, Robertson, Cowan, Nylander, Riley, whoever we pronounce that guy, Stolars, and Kako.
Yeah, it's I guess single entry, maybe it's just more chalky.
No, but hold on, I'm not convinced because I did see it trying to diversify on me. So I still think that it's considering the top shelf.
Well, how would it diversify one lineup?
That's true. But what I'm saying is if it's building for all of them, it's going to give the best one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Know? So, you know what we could do here? Let's get rid of this. Delete. I tell you what, we'll delete them all. How about that? Just to, and this is definitely not the easiest way to do it. I promise you that.
No, it used to be really easy to do this.
If Jordan were here, he would say, "Dude, you're going crazy. All you got to do is this," and I just can't figure it out. So let's do it here. Now we're only building one line. Well, we're simming for one contest, and it's going to give us one lineup. So let's see what it gives us. And you can diversify all you want. My one lineup. Okay, that's fine. Let's see what we get. Now we're back to our regulars. There it is. See? So now we're back to those the Crosby, Malkin, Rust.
Yeah.
This would have been my top shelf. But now that I'm not playing top shelf, according to myself here, and I'm only playing the single entry, this is so what this is teaching us is this, that so when we went into portfolio diversification mode and I was considering every single thing I was playing, it had two single entry contests to choose from. Okay. And what it did was actually kind of remarkable is it created two separate single entry lineups and they look nothing like one another.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that's the diversifier is
exactly
going to do a really good job of that, right?
Exactly. I mean, I think honestly, I'm just staring at this. I think it was Min Unique 8. I don't think there was a single like player from the one that we looked at before and this one. Remember, that was all Toronto's, and whatever. So I can't promise you it's doing the best job, but it's definitely doing its job. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely doing what it's supposed to be doing. So depending on how many single entry lineups you play would be my advice on which single entry to put in this thing. So
yeah,
that's
the way to go. The thing, it's tough because if you're doing one single entry and you build on a system, you get very similar to what the other people are doing, and you can even get a duplicate. So right. It is something to think about. how you manage your combinations of players to be different from the field. You don't want to just be different from a pure ownership perspective, but from a combinatorial ownership perspective. And so if we're all bunching up with a higher amount of people in these fields using these tools, we have to think about that. So, and we saw that happen the other day. But
so here's my one tilt before I guess we get out of here. So the other, I don't forget which Slate it was, maybe a week ago. It was in the when the Top Stuff was the lottery, and I was in first place in something, and there was nobody else left behind me. There was a full game left, but it was to the end of the first period, and one guy behind me had 40 PMR left, and he was only like 2.5 points behind me. I mean, I literally had no chance, right? Really.
Yeah.
But I figured before I would go to bed or whatever, I would just make sure that there was some stupid defense. It was like Klingberg or something from like Dallas.
Oh, I saw that. I saw that you were up there.
And so I gave up on it. Whatever. I figured eventually the whole second period, the guy got 0. I'm like, let's go, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, I really have to. And so then it gets to the third period, and he's getting 0 and 0 and 0. And then with 5 minutes to go, he gets like 1 something, brings him within 0.8. And I'm like,
oh my God.
No way, right? So 0-0. And now all I'm doing, that game was like the only game that I had that was blacked out in my NHL stream because it was a Devils game, I think. And because I'm from around. And so I had ESPN. I just want to see when he was, just like the game cast, when he's in the game even. You know what I mean? And then it was like, not in the game, not in the game, not in the game. Then they brought him in the game. And then there was like 2.5 minutes to go, and they brought him out of the game. Like, yes, I got it. Then at 1.5 minutes to go, they got brought him in the game. And I swear to you, with like 32 seconds to go, he blocked some shot.
Oh my God.
To not be out of there.
Oh my God.
The anti and you know what? It was perfect. They didn't even go to the empty net like they were supposed to. They didn't pull the goalie. They were like literally trying to hand me the victory. And some guy who just lays out there and takes that block shot for the team. Love it. Anyway.
Yeah. The thing about hockey too is you have to sweat the stat corrections.
Oh, I didn't even realize.
There are so many stat corrections in hockey.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Well, okay. Last question, Deepo. Would you switch to live sims? SaberSim doesn't have live ownership, do they?
No.
Yeah. So it doesn't really make a difference. The thing about late swap with hockey is you're always improving your lineups, which you don't necessarily want to do, because sometimes you want to make your lineups worse to give them a chance to make it. So if you're playing 4 lineups or single entry deep hope, I would recommend that you absolutely always have to late swap, but you should just do it by hand if you have that many lineups, because you're going to have lineups performing poorly that you don't want to give them onto higher projected, higher owned plays. And that's what late swap's going to do in this kind of sport where it doesn't have live ownership. So I would just, if I was playing the 5 max or the single entry or whatever, I would just do it by hand. Maybe that sounds unintuitive, or counterintuitive, but I don't know.
All right. Well, I'm ready. I'm ready to get back. I still want to do a little research on this goalie projection business, but
yeah, I mean,
maybe I was hallucinating. Maybe it wasn't like this. I could find some old sheets. I could find them somewhere.
I think we did good today. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. We went over basically all process stuff, right? I mean, throughout the 45 minutes or whatever we've been talking, we didn't really say, "Oh, I think this guy's good. I think that guy's not good."
But we did talk about this Toronto business.
Yeah, but that's process.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I don't know if McMahon's good. I just know he might be on line 1 or 2 and knock out the other values. But yeah. So there you have it. Like and subscribe. Check out TrueDFS.com. Great packages. NBA 2526 is the promo code, all caps. And you get 30% off your first month subscription. So we'd love to have you.
Hang on, don't disappear yet. Hold on.
Oh, okay, let's go.
Just want to look at something really quickly. Hang on a minute. Let me see. I guess I'm looking at like projections back from June. Yeah, I guess I mean, it's not like they're that much more. They were 13. Projections were like 13. These are the playoffs. Okay. All right. I've not given up on this project yet.
No,
All
you
right.
should check it out. It's your projection system. So
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Good luck, everybody.